What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
You don't know what that order is, Mr. Trash. I'd show you, but I'm too old. I'm too tired. I'm too fucking blind. If I were the man I was 5 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
I'm not sure how many times we say it, but the truth shall only set you free. This is Tim. Fuck your sensitivity, the mad ramblings of a Gen Xer. Want to talk about words and politics? Want to talk about the Crockett? And I'm not talking about Crockett and Tubbs. I'm talking about the Jasmine Crockett. Oh, this woman is a she's an enigma wrapped in a riddle. How she has a career in politics, I have no fucking clue. She has done nothing in her entire time in Washington except spew hatred and misinformation. She's never really sponsored a bill. She's never really passed a bill. She's never really done anything besides be a social media influencer. But I want to talk about certain words in society and certain words in politics that we always hear. And two of the ones that I hear all the time is, and the Dems are using this as their rally cry. They're using this as their talking point. Affordability. Oh, affordability means so many different things to them. But the problem is their definition of affordability is probably a little bit different than yours. If you think back to the Biden era where inflation was at its highest. The rate of inflation was over 11 at one point in time. And you see prices just going through the roof. We've tried to blame COVID. You saw disruption within the chain of the supply chain to bring in these goods and services. You had that stupid American Rescue Act and the Inflation Reduction Act, which actually caused inflation to go up because you pumped in so much money into the economy. And when you have so much money into the economy and it's chasing so few goods, what does that do? That causes inflation. But now that's all we hear. It's affordability. Oh, the affordability of Americans is just not there. Well, it's crazy because you talk to some of these CEOs, and you have the CEOs of Walmart. You had a couple of their CEOs come out and say, you know what, prices are actually gone down. The cost of a Thanksgiving dinner this year went down by like $23 over last year. They're showing consumer sentiment going up, and these are coming from the people that, such as, like I said, the CEO of Walmart, that are showing this data within their store in regards to how people are purchasing things. Well, not according to the Democrats. The Democrats says the sky is falling. Well, the problem is you know what's falling? Gas prices. Some places gas is down to $1.98. Where I live, our gas prices are still a little high because of the fact that we have one of the second highest or the third highest state gas taxes in the entire country. I loved Pennsylvania. Years ago, Pennsylvania had the second lowest gas tax in the entire country. It was like 48th or 49th. And the schools in Pennsylvania, they're okay. But the schools in Philadelphia, who gets government subsidies, who we pump billions of dollars into yearly here as residents of Pennsylvania, well, the problem is this: they are the worst schools in the nation. So a couple of years back, the brilliance of the Democrat leadership, they decided, hey, you know what we need to do in Pennsylvania to get more monies into these coffers? We're going to implement a higher gas tax and a gas usage tax. Well, here's the problem with that. We went from having the second lowest gas tax in the state gas tax in the entire country to like the fourth highest. They swung the pendulum so far that all you did was hurt the residents of Pennsylvania. And then once again, we pump this money back into the failed school system. And we just laugh because of the fact that the school systems have actually in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, have gotten worse. Even though the amount of money spent per student is one of the highest in the nation, but they have some of the lowest scores in the entire nation. But that's okay, though, because it was all based off, and that's part of the Democratic version of affordability. So gas prices are going down. Of course, when gas prices go down, the cost of goods go down because the cost to transport those goods, the cost to bring those goods to you go down. When diesel goes down, it goes down because of the ships. It goes down because of the trucks. So things start getting better when you start becoming energy independent. Let's be independent together. We're gonna get into some fucked up Christmas specials, but that's gonna be next week's episode. But when you do these things, you become energy dependent. You give money back to the people. You put more money back into the person's pocket. They spend more. But the problem is this: you look at the media. You look at social media. The world is ending, even though it is shown that consumer confidence is up, that consumer spending is up. But it's all about the Dems and affordability. We had a special election over in Tennessee. And this was going to be the rallying cry for the Democrats going into the 2026 midterms. We're going to happen. You know what we're going to do? We're going to show that we're going to take this special seat. We are going to take the Tennessee 7th District, and we are going to show that there's going to be a blue wave. Oh, there's a blue wave. Well, the blue wave got stopped. GOP Congressman Mark Green, of course, retired. They had the special election, and the person who won the election won it by, which is Matt Van Epps, won it by 9 points, a 9-point margin. Democrats are crying as a victory because Trump took this district last time by 20 points. So they're saying, you see, this should be a flashing red light. After everything that we had did in those governor races, those mayoral races, you could see there's going to be a blue wave. Well, here's the problem. That the excitement of the GOP for Trump and his policies is at an all-time high. This is just among Republicans. It's at 87%. It's at an all-time high. These special elections brought out maybe less than 50%. And yes, this is a deep red district in Tennessee, but they brought out about 50% of the constituents out for the voting. So the persons or the people that want to try to take this seat probably had more feet. Had more ground. Feet. That is a big feat. And had more boots on the ground. Tried to get out more people to vote, which is why this election was probably closer than it should have been. But you're looking at less than 50% of the residents voting. So the Democrats are saying, look, this gives us a reason to ponder and a reason to be exuberant because everything that happened, in all these other races. But the problem is that no one's looking at, and I find it interesting, is the fact that if you take a look at those other elections, they were all in deep blue cities and states. It's not like they went into a Republican stronghold and took a mayoral race. It's not like they went into a government stronghold and took a governorship. No, these were all in deep blue states. So you won among your base, and let's be honest, the Zohan probably wouldn't have won if the GOP, and it wasn't even the GOP, would split the ticket because Curtis Leawood took a percentage of the votes away from the other candidates, which then basically gave the Zohan his election win. And I'm not even going to say the name of the guy that, of course, was running because I think he's an idiot. And he was a governor, of course, there. I personally think that he was responsible for killing a lot of people in those nursing homes during COVID. But he ran as an independent, but he's a Democrat. So they're saying that this was a defeat for the GOP. How is it a defeat with the GOP when there was no opportunity, new chance for a Republican candidate even to win in the state of New York, the city of New York? So they're saying, like I said, it was a well-run campaign over in Tennessee. It was a great start. It gave the Democrats in the South across the country a reason to believe. You still lost by almost 10 points. It wasn't even close. The nut that ran, and I'm not even gonna say her real name, but they call her the AOC of Tennessee. It just shows that the lunacy of the left can be defeated. But again, it's about affordability. One of the other things I want to talk about is the ability to assimilate. And this is the one thing that really gets assimilation into American society. You see everything going on with certain refugee groups, and we're not gonna point fingers. Well, we'll say Somalians. Just throwing that out there. Who come to this country, basically take, like Dearborn, Michigan, we're not going to say anything, especially with the Muslims, but take segments of this country and basically turn it into the third world country that they came from. President Trump came out the other day and said, yeah, we want to get rid of these motherfucking people. We want to see them gone because they are making our country the same shithole that they left. And if it was so great, why did you fucking leave? They are not assimilating into society. You have seen what has happened over in Europe when they have let large segments of Muslims and other persons come into their societies. That countries, especially such as in the UK and other places, are basically saying, no, you got to start assimilating into our culture because you are bringing down our culture by bringing in your fucked up ways. So assimilation is not an extremist movement. Russia to Vladimir, to Putin. If you take a look at what he's done, he's a little bit extreme by basically just ordering people to be, you have to come into Russian society and be a Russian and assimilate to our society. But we're the exact opposite. We are the melting pot. The problem is, if you want to preserve your cultural identity, I have no problem with that. But you need to come here and be part of our society and do what needs to be done so everyone is inclusive. It's not just, listen, I left my shithole country, now I'm going to make this country into a shithole. Such as Trump coming out and saying the English language is now the universal language of the United States. I thought that was brilliant. Shared communications makes life easier. Learn English. Understand common social norms. It'll make your life fucking easier. It'll help you navigate better in work and navigate better in school. It'll avoid misunderstandings. It'll help build relationships. Hell, you can get a driver's license without killing people. It doesn't mean abandon your native language. It just means become a part of this society. And also, assimilation to me can help people become more economically mobile. You can get better jobs. You can advance through your career faster. You could build a business. A lot of immigrants come here the right way and they build businesses. You can earn trust in a professional setting. These are things that you can do. Workplaces always operate on a set of expectations, especially for newcomers, where the people that are currently working there shouldn't have to learn your language. You should assimilate into the country that you are a part of. And honestly, it kind of reduces friction, helps build trust. Especially, it kind of takes away that misunderstanding. It kind of just, it allows you to because certain words in certain societies mean different things, but it helps reduce friction. It creates a sense of belonging. It's not abandoning your heritage. It's just learning the common cultural practices of the country that you want to become a citizen in. That's all it does. It helps you fit in. It avoids cultural isolation, which is what you want to do. It basically takes away the ability of misunderstanding, and it can help you succeed both socially and academically. But then you have the left. And on the left is basically saying this. Well, you know what? America is a melting pot. Oh, we're a melting pot. Yeah, we are a melting pot. But the problem is this: when people came over to Ellis Island, they did, especially the Italians and the Irish, They came over and they brought their culture, but they assimilated into American society. And the left's going to take, well, you know what, we're America. And I love it because all the things that I told you are things that can help better a country. Liberals are like, well, it's going to help with diversity of food. We're going to have more diverse food and the arts. And there's going to be more innovation. It's a melting pot. It's a salad bowl, depending on how you want to say it. And they always complain that the liberals complain you shouldn't lose your identity because it's going to help keep families connected. How is it not going to help keep families connected if you're in the same motherfucking house? You're just learning English. It's also helped to maintain this. This was at a survey that some liberals. It helps maintain a well-being. And it helps you be more inclusive. And that's what I love. How does it fucking make you more inclusive when you're excluding people that have lived here their entire lives by bringing in your own culture? I never got this. I never got that the word assimilation is such a bad word that people just take it to the extreme. Like, well, you're trying to kill it. You're trying to stop us from being who we are culturally. No, we are trying to have you come here and be part of a society. That's what you need to do. It's not that difficult. And I don't understand why there is such a adverse reaction to people for this. Jasmine Crockett, who has passed 0 bills while in Congress, has basically done nothing, is complaining that she doesn't get enough money. She makes $174,000 in Congress. The average salary in Texas in her district is $50,000. So she makes almost triple of what the average person makes in her district.
We don't get enough money. I mean, I'm being honest, and I know that some people may take issue with that because they talk about how much money we make, and I get it. It's not that we're obviously getting minimum wage. But by the time you talk about having I have a mortgage and I have an interest rate that is like 3%. Mm-hmm. Interest
We're going to talk about how she has a mortgage and an interest rate that's at 3% in a second.
Rates are not that low anymore, right? That's number one. Number two, so it's a matter of, do you sell your home, then go somewhere else and get a higher interest rate? But
why would you sell your home when you're supposed to live in your district? That's one of the things I love this woman because she's a fucking idiot.
All these variables, and as a single woman who has one income, who's not allowed to make outside income, there's a lot. I'm not allowed. I work in government, and I'm not allowed to make an outside income because I'm a single woman. And then I love it because a story broke the other day that she is refusing to pay her high-end condo payments despite spending all this money and all this shit on luxury hotels. This is a woman that is crying poverty. Well, evidently, she owes the West Side Condominium Association a total of $3,047.79. The association came out and says Crockett is in default under her obligations for payment of assessment and refuses to fail to continue despite demands upon her to pay the association assessment and related charges properly leveled against the property. Now, the lien gives the West Side Communications Association in Dallas a legitimate claim or a legal claim on the unit, which prevents Crockett from selling it or transferring the property until the debt is paid. This is basically an HOA. It's basically an HOA fee. She just decided she doesn't want to. She just decided she doesn't want to fucking pay it. Now, the complex association fees run from $220 to $403 a month, and this also includes maintenance structures, sewer, and water. So she just wants everything for free. She is one of the worst candidates you could ever possibly thinking about in Texas. Now, recently, the Federal Election Commission's filing showed that she spent nearly $75,000 of donor money on luxury hotel, transportation, and security this year in different cities across the United States. The filing shows the luxury hotel and transportation expenses in Martha's Vineyard, Chicago, New York, Las Vegas, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Last time I checked, a lot of these places aren't really close to Texas. In total, the filing showed her campaign spent $25,000 since January on high-end hotels and limousine services. But this bitch is crying poverty. I'm crying poverty because of the fact that I don't have enough money. I'm trying to spend all this money, but here's the problem I'm having. I can't get any donors to give me any more money. It's one of these things that you would think that you have to pause a moment and think to yourself, why is she doing this? Why is she doing this? And then there was the whole crap with her and the Jeffrey Epstein thing, how she was calling out people in the GOP for accepting money from Jeffrey Epstein, even though it turned out it wasn't it wasn't Jeffrey Epstein.
The same one, that's fine. But when Lee Zeldin had something to say, all he had to say was it was a different Jeffrey Epstein. He admitted that he did receive donations from a Jeffrey Epstein, so at least I wasn't trying to mislead people.
Yeah, but people might see that and say, well, you're trying to make it sound like he took money from
I did not know.
A registered sex offender.
No, but I literally did not know. When you search FEC files, and that's what I had my team to do, I texted them and I said, listen, we're going up. They are saying that she took donations.
Right, but someone might say, well, your team should have done the homework to make sure it wasn't the convicted sex trafficker.
Within 20 minutes, you could not find that out, not from just...
So within 20 minutes, you couldn't find it out, so why don't you just shut your big fat mouth? How about we just leave it at that? No, but you wanted to go out there and make a point. You are going to make a point. You are going to have a gotcha moment. The only problem with the gotcha moment is some people with Google are a little smarter than you. And evidently they're a little smarter than your staff. Oh, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to go and there's a lot to review. And like I said, we're going to try to do an episode a week. I think we're going to have to do 2 episodes a week going into the new year. So stay tuned for that. I want to thank everyone that's been following. It's been fun so far. It's been great. I'm enjoying the new name change. Of course, that new name change is Fuck Your Sensitivity, the Mad Ramblings of a Gen Xer. This is Tim, and I'm out of here.